The notion of applying more nitrogen to feed barley more than malt is fairly prevalent. The Saskatchewan Crop Planning Guide assumes producers in the black soil zone are applying 99 pounds of nitrogen to achieve a 93 bushel crop of feed and only 81 pounds of nitrogen to achieve a 76 bushel crop of malt barley. This yield disparity between feed and malt is pretty realistic if we assume the comparison is between the high-yielding feed variety CDC Austenson and the malt variety AC Metcalf. CDC Austenson is about 18% higher yielding than AC Metcalf, but a newer malt variety such as AAC Synergy has comparable yield. As high-yielding malt varieties become more widely accepted, there may be little reason to grow a feed variety. Now producers are going to continue to put down more nitrogen with their feed barley than their malt barley for fear of rejection due to excessive protein. Too much protein in malt barley creates cloudy beer, and nobody wants that. But our research has shown that for the most part, optimum rates of nitrogen differ little between malt and feed varieties, even when you consider a relatively narrow price differential between malt and feed. This included comparisons even with the lower yielding AC Metcalf. Now, I won't be so bold as to say malt producers need to apply more nitrogen, but I will say that if your malt barley is achieving proteins of around 12%, applying more to your feed would not have been economical. While there's more risk associated with applying too much nitrogen to malt barley, there is little evidence to suggest that the most economic rates differ between malt and feed varieties. There's just more risk associated with high rates being applied to malt barley. Now, here's Heather to explain what we've been evaluating this year.
There are 2 trials here that are supported under the Saskatchewan Strategic Field Plan and are being led by Mitch Japp with the ministry. These trials are also being conducted at many of the Agriam sites across Saskatchewan. The first trial is determining the most economic rate of nitrogen for malt barley varieties that differ with their yield potential. The varieties selected in order of increasing yield potential are AC Metcalf, CDC Bow, and AC Synergy.
Oh, wait. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think the most economic rate of nitrogen will be higher for the higher yielding AC Synergy than the lower yielding AC Metcalf. Not because of differences in yield response to nitrogen, but because of the lower protein starting point for Synergy, as it has a higher yield potential, and that higher yield potential will dilute protein. I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Wait, one more thing. If you think about it, a high-yielding ethanol wheat variety has lower protein than a lower-yielding hard red spring variety. And even within the class of hard red spring varieties, higher-yielding varieties tend to have lower proteins.
Thanks, Mike. The second experiment is looking at different levels of management for the same 3 varieties. Fertility is being increased, plant growth regulators are being used, fungicide is being applied either at the flag, once at heading, or both at both timings. We might not get a big bang for our buck with the plant growth regulator as it is a dry year and the crop is fairly short. However, it is starting to be humid now, so there might be some fungicide responses. Again, thanks to Sask Ag for their strategic field plan for supporting this project.